Look, how do I say this in the nicest way possible? I'm trying not to scream as much. I hope some of y'all have noticed. It's not good for my health. But Notre Dame is one of, if not the most overrated pieces of crap football teams I've ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, college football is right around the corner. It's sneaking up on us, and it feels like we go through this process every single year. When college football ends in February, we're like, dang, man, it's going to take forever to come back, and little do we know, the summer flies by, and here we are. It feels like it was just yesterday when Georgia and Stetson Bennett, they were beating Alabama and Nick Saban in the championship. That's really besides the point. Anyways, moving along with today's video, or really it's tonight's video, we're going to react to the AP poll. The poll came out, I believe it was yesterday. It could have been the day before, and I haven't seen it yet because I want to react to it with you guys. Although I haven't seen it, I'm going to guess and go out on a limb here that Alabama, they're going to be number 1, Ohio State's going to be 2, and Georgia's going to be 3. Outside of that, I'm not too sure what to expect. I'm kind of excited to see if Texas is ranked. Who else am I excited for? I want to see where Michigan's ranked, Texas A&M, and that's about it. I'm just going to be completely honest before we jump into anything. I think the AP poll is complete garbage. Ever since the college football playoff rankings have come out, I think the AP poll, it doesn't even matter, and technically it doesn't matter, right? I get why we have the AP poll and the coaches poll because it's nice to at least have some numbers besides these teams, but in reality, it doesn't matter and you shouldn't get too worked up about it. Key phrase in that sentence I just said, you shouldn't get too worked up about it, and ironically enough, I'm about to get worked up. Although yes, we're going to react to the rankings and I'm going to give you my thoughts on a lot of these teams, the main topic of this video, it's not the AP poll, it's Ohio State. I haven't seen anybody bring this up or talk about it besides Colin Cowherd, and when he brought it up and I saw it, I was like, finally, someone sees this the same way I do. I don't want to spoil it for all of you. You're going to see exactly what I'm talking about in this video. We're on the road to 300K, so if you like college football content and videos like this, there's a ton of you watching that you're not subscribed. Go down there, hit that subscribe button. If you don't want to, that's cool too. All right, shut the crap up, Matt. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Whoa. Hold on. Can I address this first? Am I the only one who is sick and tired of seeing everywhere, literally everywhere you look, people are hyping up this Alabama and Texas matchup? Here's my biggest question. Why are we hyping it up? Because Alabama is going to mop the floor with Texas. It's not even going to be a close game. I don't understand it. I get it. Texas, they were at one point in time a big program, but they're no longer that great program they used to be. Why are we hyping this up? If it was Alabama and Georgia, or Alabama and Ohio State, Alabama and Clemson, I would get it. But Alabama and Texas? Come on, man. May I remind y'all that this same Texas team lost to Kansas last year. Yeah, you can do it, you won't. With that information, I just can't take it serious. But anyways, moving along with our video, let's take a look at the AP poll. Once again, let me remind you, I have not seen it yet, so when I pull it up right here, this is going to be my raw reaction. Okay, just like I thought and predicted, you got Alabama at number 1. I mean, duh. You got Ohio State at 2. They got 6 first place votes, and you got Georgia at 3, and they got 3 of them. I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. Nobody in their right mind thinks any other school outside of Alabama should be number 1. Well, my bad. I guess you do got 9 idiots out there that think Georgia and Ohio State should be number 1. Moving on down the list here, you got Clemson at number 4. I don't think that's a shock to anybody, but let's be honest with ourselves. Do they even deserve to be ranked number 4? We all know they're going to have the signature Dabo Swinney defense. They're always going to be good on defense, but their offense last year, it was one of the worst in the country. That's going to be interesting to keep up with. Me personally, I don't really have a problem with Clemson at 4. But oh man, here's where my problems start to arise. You got Notre Dame at 5. Notre Dame at 5? Are you kidding me? Look, how do I say this in the nicest way possible? I'm trying not to scream as much. I hope some of y'all have noticed. It's not good for my health. But Notre Dame is one of, if not the most overrated pieces of crap football teams I've ever seen. It's not even the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It's been the past 10 to 12 years. Notre Dame has always been overrated. It's not 8 out of 10. It's not 9 out of 10. It's 10 out of 10 times they play in a big time game in a meaningful matchup that is showcased at 7 p.m. They not only wet the bed, but they lose by 30 points. Yeah, okay, I'll give it to you. That one miraculous time they beat Clemson, but Trevor Lawrence couldn't even play because of COVID. That game didn't even count because when they rematched them, they got ran out of the water again. I just want to understand, and I want to actually sit down and meet with these people just to make sure they're okay. Who in their right mind is putting Notre Dame at 5? We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. Let's continue to move on. You got A&M at number 6, and Texas A&M at that. Yes, I understand they got all these 4- and 5-star recruits, but my biggest dilemma with them, they don't have a quarterback. It's 2022, it's not the 1980s. You gotta have a quarterback, whether you're talking about high school football, middle school football, NFL, or college. We see it with the NFL. If you don't have a top 10 quarterback right now in the NFL, you're not gonna win a championship or even compete for one. It's the same thing in college football unless you have some rare circumstance where you have 5 first-round picks on the defensive side of the ball like Georgia did last year. Yes, Georgia was the best team in the country last year, and they won the championship with a mediocre quarterback, but you have to understand that was a 1 out of 100 exception. It's going to be rare to see a defense that good ever again. The bottom line is, look at the past 10 to 12, 15 recent national championships in college football. You got to have a top quarterback. With that being said, apply it to this situation. Texas A&M, they have good wide receivers, good offensive line, good defensive line. I mean, they got good players all around the board. How much have they developed? I personally don't know. I don't keep up with them too much. But here's what I do know. The quarterback, it's a big red flag and it's a question mark. They do have a 5-star quarterback recruit that came in. I've heard he's good, but we haven't seen him play. That's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Texas A&M at 6. I see why you put them there because of all the hype and attention. But outside of that, it does worry me. Moving down the list here, you got Utah at 7. Can't be too mad at that. At number 8, though, you got good old overrated Michigan. Oh, man. I don't even want to get too worked up with Michigan. They're a laughingstock. I mean, their game, it speaks for itself. Not only is Michigan as a football program a laughingstock, but their head coaches as well. Michigan and Notre Dame, now that I think about it, they're really alike. They're always overhyped and overrated, except for last year Michigan was unranked, but for the most part, they're always overrated. Why does everybody praise Michigan and why does everybody praise Notre Dame? Because of their recent success in the 1800s. That's whatever. Moving on down here, you got Oklahoma, Baylor, Oregon. Not too upset with that. At 14, though, we got USC. We all know that USC last year, they went 5-7, and the main reason they're even ranked at all, it's because of Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley. That's going to be something to keep your eye on. I think you could see USC being a dark horse for the playoff. I mean, they could sneak inside that top 10 easily, and nobody would even notice. Not too much more to talk about when you go down the list, because none of these teams matter. Everybody ranked outside of the really top 10, you're irrelevant. There's only one team ranked outside of the top 10 that I think even has a chance of making, well, actually 2 teams that have a chance of making it to the college football playoff, and that's Oregon and that's USC. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of shocked that Tennessee's not ranked. In reality, I think they should be ranked, but also, did you notice Texas, they're not ranked? That's kind of fishy, but here's one of the funniest parts and the strangest parts about it, and it goes to prove by the AP poll, it's bullcrap. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it shows you other receiving votes, and at the very, very bottom, Nebraska had 1 vote. Now, can somebody riddle me that? Unless I'm mistaken, I believe they went 3-9 last year. Who in their right mind is even considering voting for Nebraska? I don't know, but guess what? It happened. All right, let's get on topic with yeah, that's right. You heard me correctly. The Ohio State. Whoa. Hold on. Before some of you sensitive and insecure boomers and old heads, you try to get mad at me, let me make this clear. I didn't even make this up. I actually stole this graphic off of, I think it was Colin Cowherd's show. So check this out, and I can't find the picture, but I'm just going to tell you right here, and I'll throw it up on the screen. Ohio State in the Big Ten in their last 30 games is 29-1. Let me repeat that. Ohio State in their last 30 games in the Big Ten is 29-1. Impressive. But do you know why they're 29-1? And I've said this time after time, the Big Ten is dog crap. For those of you that disagree, do you really think Ohio State, if they was playing in the SEC in their last 30 games, they'd be 29-1? I don't think so. You couldn't even beat Michigan last year, who was overrated and not that good, and Georgia murdered them in the championship, well, not the championship game, but the semifinals. Ohio State is head over heels far superior to everyone in the Big Ten. It's not even close. When it comes to recruiting, yeah, Michigan, they may get 1 5-star recruit here and there, but Ohio State, they are crushing everybody in the Big Ten. And for that reason right there, that's why they dominate the Big Ten and everybody thinks they're so good. And I don't want you to take this the wrong way. They have been good, but that's it. They haven't been great. They haven't been like an Alabama, a Clemson, or a Georgia. Let me show you this picture. Once again, in their last 30 games in the Big Ten, they're 29-1. Well, check out this picture right here. Ohio State, in their last 6 games against ranked non-conference opponents, they're 3-3. And one of those wins that I don't even know if we should to count this, was last year against Utah, where they barely won 48-45. Their defense gave up over nearly 2,000 yards of offense, and Utah literally had wide receivers playing on defense. But whatever, I guess we'll count it still. In their last 6 games against ranked opponents outside their conference, they're 3-3. One of those losses was also against a not-so-good Oregon team last year who pushed them around, Alabama who curb-stomped them in the championship game, and Clemson. The point of me bringing this up, and I don't want you to get too concerned with the wins and losses, it's more so of this tells us a lot about Ohio State. I know what you're sitting there saying, yo Matt, what in the heck does it tell us? And I can't take credit for this, I'm just going to piggyback off it where Colin Cowherd said this. In these games they lost, Ohio State got pushed around. And that's what I'm talking about. When we watched Oregon play Ohio State last year, they just pushed them around. When we watched Ohio State play Alabama in the championship, it looked like a JV team scrimmaging the varsity team. That right there is what I'm talking about. It's hard to evaluate Ohio State. Yeah, they're ranked at number 2, and I don't have a problem with that, but it's hard to tell just how good they are until they play a great team out of their conference. Because in reality, I know the Big Ten fans, you're not going to like me for this, your conference sucks. You're not that good. And if you disagree with what I just said, I'm going to offer you some cold hard evidence and facts. In the last 30 games, Ohio State is 29-1 in your conference. In their last 6 games against ranked opponents outside the conference, they're 3-3. You can do what you want with that information, but it is cold hard facts. Why does Ohio State get away with it though? Why are they 29-1 in their last 30 games in the Big Ten? It's fairly obvious. The Big Ten isn't that good, and they can hide their weaknesses. However, when Ohio State does play a team like Oregon, or they play a Clemson or Alabama where they get exposed, those weaknesses they were hiding, you can't hide them against teams like this. You got a weak secondary? Oh, guess what? Mac Jones and Alabama, they're going to light you up. Same thing for Utah. I mean, come on now. Out of all the schools in the country to light you up, you allowed Utah to go off for 45 points on you. Ohio State's biggest problem is they play in an inferior conference with weak competition. For example, I want you to think about this. In the SEC, we know by about week 7 or 8 who's the 1 or 2 great teams and who's the other just good teams. It's easy to spot out and it's easy to tell because in the SEC, you can't hide your weaknesses. They're going to get exposed. I could go on and on for days. I'm just going to leave it at that. I am very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But